Hey, Jay,
Yes, sir.
what's the rumpus?
What's the rumpus?
Yeah, what's the rumpus?
You tell me what the rumpus is.
Jason, what's the rumpus?
I don't want you over here trying to give me the high hat.
Just walking around feeling kind of daffy. Yeah, welcome back to Director's Cut. This is a two-part special edition talking about all things Coen Brothers. We are spanning from 1984 tonight to 1998. So 7 movies we're going to be talking about that with. And let's talk about our special guests, or my co-host. First off, Jay Manning from Trexpertise and Classic Flicks, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. It's fun to be
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, you ready to talk some Coen Brothers?
Why not?
Why not? And from Brainstorm Brewery, Mr. Jason Alt, thanks for coming on.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
All right, you ready to talk some Coen Brothers tonight, sir?
That's a deep cut. If everyone hasn't watched like every episode of this that I've done where I talked about why I don't say thanks for having me.
Right. Just like,
That's just a nice Easter egg for everyone who watched, and everyone who didn't is like, this guy's kind of a dick. Which is correct, so
yeah, it's good.
Are you torturing an ostrich? Is that sound out here?
I'm choking an ostrich as we speak. I am uncorking my special guest. While I'm doing that, Jason, who do you have joining you tonight?
I'm going to start off with a Shorts Brewery Schnauzleberry Griffin. It is an American wheat ale with oolong tea and blackberries. It's sort of like a darker, if you're familiar with Short Soft Parade, which is like, that's my lawnmower beer. That's Mother's Milk. I go through 6ers of Soft Parade every week. I think I'm going to back it up with the Shorts Obliviate, which is a Belgian quad when I run out of Schnauzleberry here. So I'm going to get up in the middle of the cast, and like everyone's just going to have to be okay with that.
Yeah. How come your beer
get warm next to me?
Your beers sound so like they have such epic names over in the Midwest.
Well, there's a lot of competition, so you gotta really differentiate yourself, I guess. And they take some weird risks and do a lot of Shorts does a lot of fruity stuff, but it's good. Like I'm through caring what people think about me. Like, oh no, what if someone sees me drinking a peach ale? What are they gonna do? Not blow me? Like, I don't care. So I just drink what I want now. That's when you're in your 30s, you just stop caring what other people think, and you just your life gets a lot better.
Yeah, and I mean that would be very entertaining to see someone order that from the bar after they've had a couple too. I'll take the Schnauzleberry Wazzle Toff and the Mazel Toffee. It'd be hard to order, right? Like, I don't know.
It's even harder to drink.
You just say, "Give me another one of the thing I just had," and the bartender's like, "Okay, it's my job to know what I just gave you." So,
do you say the Schnauzle? Yeah, the Schnauzleberries taste like Schnauzleberries.
They do.
Yeah, very good. Jay, do you have a special guest today?
I have chocolate milk in a Batman glass.
Prove it, you liar. It's awesome. I have a Janik red wine. This is made in Washington State. I actually, fun story, I'm friends with one of the former winemakers, so he told me today that his skin cells are probably in this bottle. So, Riley Beck, I am drinking your skin cells. Yeah.
Tasty.
They smell nice. Hey, Cody Smith's in the chat. What's up, dude? All right. So,
how much of his skin cells does this guy have? Like rosacea, or is it just?
He said he was like armpit deep. When you're making wine, I don't know. I only drink it. I've never seen it made personally, but I guess when you're in there, you're not only putting your fingers in there, but he said up to the armpits. So I mean, I might be getting some real
from the arm or from the other way.
He said it's like he's in there and it's all the way up here, like all the wines.
Oh, so we want an arm, not feet first. All the way up to the armpit, feet first would be different.
Right. It's more of a reach in. So I might be spitting out hairs tonight. I don't know.
I'm not the only one with whose beverage got teabagged, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that. Oh, I also had a fun comment the other day. Someone walked up to me and said, "Hey, I liked the show. How, like, or what did he say? Where does your brother live?" And I said, "Who's my brother?" He said, "That Jason guy." I said, "Oh, I knew it was coming."
I bet your own brother doesn't like that either. Who's
If I had one.
Fronted by that. Yeah, we can do.
All righty. So let's talk. Yeah, Coen Brother. Why did we decide on Coen Brothers, gentlemen?
Because I don't know. We wanted to.
Because 50,000 words aren't even close to enough to describe their genius, so we needed a 2-part episode.
We wanted to do well-trod territory just so we can add nothing to the discourse that smarter people haven't added already.
Sure. Well, I mean, we didn't just hit the kind of easy targets. We're hitting everything, and that's why we're doing the 2 weeks. So yeah, if you like this or you don't, that's on you, because we're doing it again next week for part 2.
Is it like 7 and 10 or something like that?
I screwed up the math. It was supposed to be 8 and 8, and I screwed up and I left off. I already tweeted out that we're going up to 98, but I think Oh Brother, Where Art Thou comes out in 2000, so it was my bad.
Yes, it was your bad.
Usually.
Damn it, Delmar.
All right, let's talk about themes. Coen Brother themes. And this is, I guess, this is going to be tricky because we're going to want to talk about stuff after we're supposed to. But just kind of, let's talk about some of the early themes of Coen Brother movies up until the point that we're talking about. And the first thing I want to say is, it's all Joel Coen is directed all of these. So Ethan Coen was also the writer and producer on all these films, but he didn't kind of jump in the director's seat until much later. So what did you guys pick up on some of the themes, similarities from Joel Coen's early deliveries?
It didn't really seem like there was one director he tended to emulate. It really seemed like it went movie to movie. Like, yep. Each movie is just sort of its own thing. And like, some of these movies look like they were directed by somebody else. Really. Yeah. Like the Hudsucker Proxy really looked like a Terry Gilliam movie.
Yeah.
Like the way it was shot like a Terry Gilliam movie. It wasn't shot like a Joel Coen movie. It was really interesting to see. It's almost like they let the subject matter dictate the style, which I think is really interesting.
You can definitely feel Raimi's influence on that one as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like it honestly, the Hudsucker Proxy is like the movie Brazil had a baby with the producers. Like
Springtime for Hitler.
In Brazil, I guess that's the sequel, right? That's where all the Nazis ended up.
Sure.
South America. The boys from Brazil.
Easiest place to get to from Germany.
Can confirm.
My favorite thing about their subject matter is I agree with Jason that they really let the subject dictate what the film is about thematically, but they also have their films individual from one another, and it looks like they all could take place in a shared Coen Brothers cinematic universe. I could totally believe that Inside Llewyn Davis and The Big Lebowski existed, in the same timeline.
Or that Barton Fink was one of the commie writers in Hail Caesar.
Yeah, absolutely. But their visual styles, also their color palettes, like Big Lebowski has a lot of bright like yellows and 70s tan and taupe, whereas Inside Llewyn Davis has those deep blues everywhere and those grays. The movie's saturated with gray, and it helps enhance their themes visually.
Whereas Raising Arizona, everything looked washed out and sun bleached.
Yeah, because of their climate and where they were.
They really let the scene dictate, I guess, the visual aesthetic. So it's not it. It just, I guess, it shows a reverence for the material, whether or not they wrote it or they adapted it. That they really take a lot of their cues from the script, what they do visually. It's really interesting how different visually their first 7 movies looked from each other. Was
Blood Simple an adaptation, or is that an original? I kind of want to. I'm going to check that right now.
I don't know. I want to say it was an original script, but I don't know.
It's sort of like it's like an homage to other movies, but I want to say that was an original. Well, Joe and Ethan wrote it, so.
Well, it's weird because they kind of remake movies. The Big Lebowski is kind of a soft remake of The Big Sleep. So they kind of remake stuff without directly adapting it sometimes.
Well, sometimes they'll like the Big Lebowski is basically, what if you put Marcel Marceau from the Stranger? What was that guy's name? The guy from Camus' The Stranger, whatever that dude's name was. That character basically is in a noir film and doesn't really want to participate in the noir film, but everyone else is doing it. They really like to sort of almost readapt something, but like their comedies are like somebody that doesn't belong in there. Like Burn After Reading, it's like a spy movie, but they're like, well, what if we put a bunch of morons in it and it wasn't actually a spy movie, but they acted like it was? And then there's one person like, what's going on? Like it was sort of like an inverse Big Lebowski, where the Big Lebowski, everyone's super into it except one dude is just like too much of a, I guess like a Camus existentialist. And they even put a nod to the fact that Camus didn't like being called an existential or called a nihilist in that movie. I mean, we're jumping way ahead, but it just it kind of seems like they have a tendency to just put characters where they don't belong, and that's how they do an adaptation.
Fargo's the same way. Fargo comes off like it's going to be this like thriller with guys and kidnapping, but everyone's a friggin' noob and doesn't know what they're doing. And as it falls apart, you're like, wow, I could totally kidnap someone better than these guys. And you're just in it for the ride.
Well, and you throw in the most wholesome characters on the face of the planet, and even one of those wholesome characters is William H. Macy, where he's the last person you want in charge of a kidnapping because, you know, he's probably never stolen a pack of gum in his life. And that's kind of that's the biggest, I think, blaring example of a movie and then other characters kind of transplanted into a situation because those sure gosh nice coppers, they had no business being in that movie. You know, it's just like,
oh, you betcha.
Well, Jerry was such a boob, like it didn't take a brilliant detective to catch him.
Yeah. It took Marge.
It took Marge
Genderson.
Yeah. But yeah, oh my God. I rewatched Fargo yesterday, and since then I'm so cognizant of how much I say yeah after everything, and it's really bumming me out. But let's talk about Blood Simple.
Did you guys notice anything overarching?
Well, the character, I mean the same actors.
Well, I mean, it just seemed like money is sort of the MacGuffin in every movie, whether it's symbolic or, you know, direct. Like in Raising Arizona, the baby is sort of a stand-in for money or class, and the baby is different things to different people.
Sure,
which I thought was really interesting. It just seems like it's either money or station.
Yeah, Miller's Crossing is definitely all about who's king of the hill. Barton Fink's all about kind of the material that he's trying to pull out of his brain. It is very MacGuffin-y, and you could insert money in some of these, you could insert other things, but it's always
it seems like it's always somebody's tempted, or there's a treasure, whether or not the treasure exists. Like, you know, it didn't in a couple of cases. There was no money. Big Lebowski, there was no money. You know, Oh Brother, We're Out There actually was no money, but it was what it represented, the fact that people were tempted. Burn After Reading, they thought they found something valuable. And anytime money enters the situation, it changes how people react.
Sure.
You know, you basically take someone on this, just a normal person, and then you upend their life by changing their morality by seeing how money affects them. That's something that happens in basically all these movies. Barton Fink sells out and takes an easy paycheck. Hudsucker Proxy, you got a total nobody working in the mailroom. All of a sudden, you make him the head of a company and see how much he changes. Fargo, the greed of someone trying to embezzle ransom money. Big Lebowski, basically, you know, the dude was sort of living a real easygoing lifestyle, and as soon as the money gets introduced, he has probably the worst week of his life. You know, Miller's Crossing, the money was more symbolic. It was about his loyalty more than anything, but like he was tempted with money too. It seemed like that's like the movies they pick to adapt even.
You know, and someone else's wife in Blood Simple, right? It's always
Lady Killers was an adaptation about a robbery. You know, No Country for Old Men was an adaptation about a robbery. True Grit was an adaptation about. Well, I mean, he turned the money down, but it seems like it's either money or class ambition, which is you know, Raising Arizona is sort of the exception, but not really, because when John Goodman's character gets a hold of the baby, he immediately wants a reward for it. So the baby represents, you know, I think the fact that HI is sterile, it's sort of like they don't care about having money per se, but the fact that he's sterile means that he has to go back to stealing because he's got something else that he can't get to honestly. So I just noticed that thematically, like basically every movie that they did, like all of them. It just seemed like you take normal characters and then you throw money into the mix and see how much it messes them up.
And it seems like there's always such a disparity between one character and another, especially intelligence-wise, where it's just like Paul Newman's character is he thinks he's running, you know, he's 10 steps ahead of Tim Robbins' character the whole time, and that's kind of the seesaw back and forth.
He gets producered.
Yeah, same thing with Miller's Crossing. Like Tom is leagues and ahead on a different page than everyone else, even his friend Albert Finney the entire time. He's kind of puppet mastering the entire thing, getting his teeth kicked in the whole time, almost dying literally the whole movie, but he still already knows what the next three plays are. So that's an interesting thing too. There's always a single character that's kind of already figured out most of the movie and how it's going to go, thrown in with kind of a bunch of idiots,
or it's someone just doesn't care.
It's always a theater of fools in a Coen Brothers movie. It's always these character archetypes, almost commedia-like, of William H. Macy in Fargo, for example. He's the head of a household. He's the big breadwinner, but he is the dumbest one in the house.
He's a boob.
Even his son is smarter than him. Like, Dad, shouldn't we call the cops? Oh, no cops, honey. I love how he rehearses the phone call before he calls his father-in-law. Wait, it's Jerry. Oh, geez. Okay, and then he picks up the phone. Character dynamic is always prevalent in a Coen Brothers movie. Within the first 3 minutes of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, you know exactly what the dynamic is between the three guys there, George Clooney and his pals.
Yeah.
And starting off with the first movie, it kind of sets it up. You're in a car. It's raining outside. It's basically a bartender, one of the help, taking the boss's wife home, and then there's a realization that she's not happy, and they have feelings for each other, and yada yada. And these are our protagonists. There was a lot to like about Blood Simple. Jay, can you run down the just kind of give us a quick what's it about type thing?
Full disclosure, I wish I could. I don't think I've seen this movie since like 1991.
Oh, sure. I
couldn't find it anywhere. And I don't remember a damn thing about it.
Jason, you want Blood Simple?
So there's like a bar owner, and everyone hates him, and he hires a PI to take pictures of his wife cheating on him with the bartender.
Dan Hedaya?
Yeah. Dan Hedaya, who was great, and then they never really used him again, which I kind of thought sucked. Emmett Walsh. That's hard to say. It sounds like Emmett Walsh played the dirty PI.
He was incredible in this film. He's the best part of the film.
Oh yeah. So he takes the pictures, and so he decides to hire him again, this time to kill both of them. And he wants to get rid of the bodies. Then there's money involved. There's like a contract, and then I don't want to spoil too much of it, because like the third act of this movie is so intense. So like just setting it up, it's basically a typical revenge type noir movie. There's a safe full of money. There's a hit. There's a dirty cop. It's a great movie. For their first effort, they pretty much made the case for themselves right out of the gate.
It didn't feel.
Worry.
What's that?
I was going to say I wouldn't worry about spoiling it. I have 4 different subscription services, and I couldn't find it on any of them. So people are making an effort for me or anyone else to not see this movie.
Or they could pay $3 for the DVD on Amazon or like rent it. I don't know. Like, you should see it. So I don't want to spoil it. Like, I realize that the movie's as old as I am, but like, man, you should really see it.
Yeah, it was a tough one for me, and not just because I mean I love older movies and all that. It was just like the lead's voice was, I just couldn't stand it. It was like nails on a chalkboard. He's doing the worst Southern drawl that you'll ever hear in your life. And that's Ray. That's the bartender. Frances McDormand was great, and that's kind of her debut role with the Coen Brothers. You would see her throughout the entire filmography almost. I think she only missed a couple, especially around this era. It's just to me, it felt a little disjointed. It felt like it was this kind of crime movie, and then it tried to get a little bit psychological thriller, but didn't really work on that level. It's just, you had to suspend a lot of disbelief for this story. They kept going back to certain shots with, they kept like force feeding. It was like a show don't tell, but like for dummies though, because they kept force feeding you that the Zippo was under the fish the whole time. And it's like, they must have gone back to that shot like 10 times. And it just, I don't know. There's a lot in this movie that I liked, but a lot that I didn't. It wasn't my least favorite of this group, but it definitely wasn't. It was probably my second least favorite, if I'm just going to be honest.
What's your least favorite? Will you tell us when we get to it? Or
yes, I will.
Or can I guess that it's Barton Fink?
I'll tell you when we get there, because it's not Barton Fink.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. It's just, like I said, it's not a horrible movie. They were. You could definitely see a lot of what the Coen Brothers would later on to become style wise. There's a cute little cut scene where Frances McDormand she kind of like lays down and she kind of falls through the bed, which that kind of visual. Those kind of visuals will be used later on in their films. And for 1984, they were doing okay. I liked the other bartender guy, the guy that goes up to Ray and just kind of like tells him off because he's smoking a cigarette and how they're so bad for him. And then he kind of takes his cigarette, starts smoking it, and leaves. So there's a lot of unintentional comedy in this movie, but all in all, besides H.M. Walsh or whatever his name is,
there's 7 of them, I think.
It just kind of fell flat for me.
Okay. Here's why you're wrong. John Getz is a fine actor, and I didn't find his voice annoying.
I thought he was terrible.
You're right about a lot of the stuff where it's sort of like they're force feeding you the symbolism, some of the foreshadowing. Like, I don't know, man. If I went to film school, I would think that everybody was an idiot too.
That's what it kind of felt like, a film school movie. It was like film school movie a little bit.
Meanwhile, this movie was the grand jury prize at Sundance, won the Independent Spirit Award for Best Director and Best Male Lead, won the Audience Award at Fantasysporto that year, and like won the National Border Review Top 10 that year. So like, as much as you're sort of like, some of their latter work was better. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, if you're looking at a first effort, this was really good, So some of the unintentional comedy was pretty dark. Like, digging a grave, and I don't want to spoil any of it. You should see it.
Yeah, like I said, the only one that I wanted to spoil was the whole cigarette thing, because I think it kind of was meant as a wink, because it was very, like, when Coen Brothers make a joke, it is kind of on the darker side, and that one is kind of like that, but it was, I don't know, it just felt, and this is giving, I'm shitting on this movie, but it's back in 1984. Like I said, this is their first time out. It did things, and I appreciate what it did, and I like more how it helped them grow than I liked the film itself.
I mean, I think they figured out that they never really made a movie like this again.
No, but they made like you could tell it was a blood relative to a lot of their other works.
Yeah, exactly. They sort of they figured out what they liked, but they realized they didn't want to do movies this dark. If they were going to do a morality play, it would be funny, and they never did a sloppy ending like this movie had. All their endings were much cleaner. I mean, even in the next movie they did, you know, the things get wrapped up in a bow for the most part.
And conversely, and I won't say any details, but the ending was the strongest part for me. I thought Act 3.
Oh, you just we're glad it was over, huh?
No, I thought it was an interesting choice. It gave a lot of cool things to do. He had a cool, fade to black scene, which was great.
He's not a likable character, but he's the best part of the movie. I think that's the best way to describe it.
100%.
You don't root for him, but I don't know, man. He's real good.
You root for his scenes. You just root for him being there.
Yeah, you just you want him to be on camera.
Yeah.
So you can not like him so much.
Because Dan Hedaya has the personality of the dead fish that are on his table. Like the whole time he had one note, and that was it. He was.
Who knows how that character was written though? This was their debut as writers too. As screenwriters. So
sure. Oh. Okay. All right. Jay, do you have anything to add to a movie that you've never seen?
Absolutely, so much. Actually, I don't. You keep cutting in and out, and I think my headset. I'm gonna look for my other headset real quick. So
sure.
And it should work better. So stand by for me.
Are you getting that, Jason? Am I cutting in and out?
No, I think it's just.
Okay, I think it's me. I'm gonna look for my other headset. I'll be back in a bit.
Sure.
Thank you. Yep.
Until then, we could start on Raising Arizona, right?
Sure.
Oh, I'll take this one. Raising Arizona is about Nicolas Cage or what's his last? It was High something.
H.I. McDonough.
H.I. McDonough. He is a criminal. He's a guy he's a really bad, self-proclaimed bad criminal. He just can't get out of his way. He has a thing about knocking off convenience stores, and he's always winding up back in the pen. One particular instance when he does this, he meets his eventual love interest.
Well, it's lots of times, right? Like they had a flirtation. I really love this, that they had a flirtation that every time he would get busted and she would take his mugshot, he would flirt with her a little. And he got busted so many times that he managed to charm this woman just by their brief 2 or 3 second interactions every however often he's getting locked up. That
was their dating montage.
Basically. I thought that was really cute.
That was. Then whatever, they get together. And it's really done as like a fast montage that way, like an entire life. It was like the first 20 minutes of the movie Up, where you get like a whole lifespan in just like with no talking at all. But then you get. So they're together. Basically, they decide to have children. They can't for reasons, and so they decide to use the one thing that Nicolas Cage is good at in this movie, and that's using his criminal background to steal the most powerful man in Arizona's baby to raise as their own. Shenanigans ensue. You got John Goodman. You got not John Goodman as his partner.
William Forsythe.
Yeah. Oh man, that guy's so creepy. What else was he in? He played like a really nasty cop in some like comedy movie.
Boy, what was he that you would have seen per se? Like that he's in everything.
He was maybe like something about Mary. He was always dropping his pants and wanted someone to look at something.
That was that he had a thin dick, right? That was
yeah.
Deuce Bigelow.
Oh, was it really?
Out of everything this guy's been in, he was in Dick Tracy, he was in Virtuosity, he was in The Immortals, he was in Firestorm, Blue Streak, and you're like, oh yeah,
I know.
Bigelow. That's what I remember. Jesus.
I am a highbrow movie reviewer. That's the thin dick cop, and that's what I just kept seeing. I thought he was going to show it to.
It's not small; it's thin. Painted so twisted at the end. You got a kickstand.
Oh my god!
Why do I remember? Yeah, I saw Deuce Bigelow.
Yeah, don't even. Yeah, you're shaming me here, but you've seen it. You've seen it. I basically We used to watch this movie a lot when I was younger. I just watched it again to refresh. You know, like Jay, I haven't seen this movie in years, like literal, probably almost going on 20 years. I haven't seen this movie, and I just fucking hated this film. I'm sorry. I know I just lost everybody. I could not stand. I came so close to turning this movie off. I could not stand it.
What?
I know.
Oh dear. I just don't. I mean, you're fucking wrong.
Hey, I think this one. No, this didn't. It came real close to winning the Twitter poll for everyone's favorite Big Lebowski one for sure. But,
of course,
but people love this film.
Big Lebowski's how can I don't understand? Okay, so what I liked about this movie is it sort of flipped the whole morality temptation on its head, where he's like, I'm not going to steal money anymore. I'm on the straight and narrow. And she's like, you better be on the straight and narrow. And she gets tempted with somebody else's good fortune, which is that person had 5 children and she's not even allowed to have one. So it's not like they're happy with the amount of money they have. They're content. She gets tempted by a different form of wealth, and the same thing happens. She wants someone who's like, you can't steal money. I don't want you stealing money at all. We're fine. That completely changes when somebody else has something that she covets. So it was really the baby is sort of a symbolic MacGuffin, because it's different things to different people, because they don't see him as money. But oh boy, it's Gail and Evel. The John Goodman and William Forsythe characters.
Sure.
They see the baby as a payday because there's the reward. You know, Leonard Small sees the baby as money. Nathan Arizona sees the baby as money because he would rather have the baby back. He offers a reward. He'll pay anything to have the baby back. I keep saying baby back. Now I want some ribs.
Baby back, baby back. I want my baby back.
Talk about baby back. Hey, Jay.
So it's sort of like, oh, you back, baby. So it's sort of the same sort of thing. The baby is symbolically money in this movie, and they found a different way to tempt Ed and HI and make them abandon their principles, which was, we're content, we're living a nice lifestyle, we're comfortable. Then all of a sudden, someone else has something they want, and they resort to stealing again. I just thought that was really interesting, how this was sort of like the exception to that theme that goes through literally all of their movies, and even here it's present, but it's slightly different.
If I read all that on paper and it was executed differently, I would have probably enjoyed it. I thought the execution was terrible. You heard Chicken Run music every time anything was happening, and then you had John Goodman and Slim Dick or whatever, Thin Dick guy,
Forsythe, right?
William Forsythe. Just screaming at each other and at the camera. That's never funny. It was just obnoxious.
Because they were Nicolas Cage's Wile E. Coyote, right?
Yeah.
John Goodman and William Forsythe were like Fred and Barney. Like it's a cartoon. That's the whole point.
Right.
That's why all the violence was exaggerated with like sticks of dynamite and shit. That's why everything was madcap, because it was a cartoon.
Yeah, Jay, where do you lie on this? Are you more on Jason's side and everyone else in the world side that thinks I'm an idiot for not liking this movie?
I didn't think I would have to get on here and defend this movie. I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, I'm really in the middle with Raising Arizona. Like, it was a one and done. Like, okay, I went through that. It was worth the 96 minutes or whatever. But I'm really in the middle about it.
I bet that's his exact runtime, you weirdo. Oh, it's 94. 96 or whatever.
Well, I didn't stay for the credits. How about that?
If John stayed for the credits, he would have known William Forsythe's name and stopped calling him Slim Dick.
It's Slim Dick. Deuce Bigelow. I would have rather seen
out of everything he's done. Oh my god,
the movie is so loud too.
It is.
If you went up to William Forsythe and be like, "Oh man, I'm a big fan. Oh, thanks. I really loved you in Deuce Bigelow." He'd blow his fucking brains out. You're the worst.
I would have told him I love him in The Rock.
Oh, there you go. That's a little bit more of a compliment. But yes, like you were saying, it's so fucking loud.
It's so inconsistent too. It's like the editing's very choppy, and I mean, it's maximum Nicolas Cage.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, before he
Nicolas Cage is a cartoon.
Yeah, this was before it was cool to be Nick Cage in an ironic way. before he did 12 Con Air movies in a row or whatever. And
The Wicker Man
writing a part for a cartoon like Nicolas Cage. It's like Punch Drunk Love, where you take the world's shittiest actor like Adam Sandler, but you write a part where it's like, all right, I want you to chew the scenery. He's like, are you sure it's okay to chew the scenery? It's like, yeah, I just want you to scream, say that's that mattress, man. And it works. So they wrote a part for a fucking cartoon like Nicolas Cage.
But this is when he was still trying to be a straight man. Like, this is when
was he
Nicolas Cage
he was never trying to be a straight man.
This was not Wicker Man level of Nicolas Cage.
He chews the scenery so much he has an eating disorder. He's not trying to be a straight man that tries to. I mean,
in this film, he seems muted to me. In this, everyone else
said a Wicker Man. I eat nothing but wicker. Oh,
the bees.
Yeah.
And Holly Hunter's voice gets on my nerves. I
Yes!
wasn't so petty about it, but everything she's in, even The Incredibles, her voice gets on my nerves.
I could listen to Marge all day long, but I couldn't take any more of her. Oh, man.
Well, it's good that you like Franny McDormand, because she's married to one of the directors, so she gets to be in a lot of the movies.
Is she really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
he got her an Oscar for Fargo.
Joel's wife, I thought, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
I actually can't tell. I know so much about their movies, and if you showed me a picture of Joel Coen, is like, is this Joe or Ethan? I'd be like, ah, that would flip a coin.
Joel looks like Tim Burton. Yeah, Joel looks like Tim Burton.
He does look like Tim Burton. Holy shit!
Yeah, he looks just like him.
And Ethan kind of looks like
Burton.
Ethan looks like what's his name? The guy Tim Burton always uses, Danny from Oingo Boingo.
Oh, Danny Elfman. Oh my God.
They look
kind
like
of a mix of that and a badly aged Jesse Eisenberg.
They look like Tim Burton and Danny Elfman. That's so weird. I can't believe I never noticed that before.
They're not twins, though. That's a popular misconception. They're not twins. They're a couple years apart.
Joel's a little older, I guess. Yeah. That's why he got.
They're my parents' age. They were born in the year my parents were. So
wow.
They're not like our peers, like Zack Snyder. Get your shit together, Zack Snyder.
Michael Bay. Can't wait for that show.
You know what? That's going to be me doing a lot of talking and you making the wank gesture, I'm sure.
My raising. I'll rename that the Raising Arizona gesture. This movie was garbage.
You're garbage. What's it like? What's it like to have no whimsy in your life? You.
Oh my God!
I think he's talking to you.
Yeah, I know. I know he's talking to. It's fun. I mean,
I'm talking to both of you.
And it's like the first two movies. It's like, oh, John hates Coen Brothers movies, but these were really the two farts in the wind for me. Like I couldn't get in
this more than intolerable cruelty. Go fuck yourself.
What's it? I said for this era.
Have you not seen Did you not see the Lady Killers?
We're not talking about those yet, though.
Oh man. I would have done a little bit of research. I would have had some good points if I'd have known I had to go to bat for this movie, but I never in a million years thought,
sorry,
like, hey, Jason, out of the three, you're going to be the one person who liked this movie. I never thought that.
Because it sucks.
It's never a death with dignity when you're defending a Nicolas Cage movie.
I'm going to take his face off.
I'm Castor Troy.
So 6 months ago, I was like, what the fuck was Snake Eyes about? I remember seeing Snake Eyes, and I don't remember. So 6 months ago, I watched Snake Eyes, and guess what? I don't fucking remember what it was about.
Sure, yeah, of course.
I forgot already. So I think it was like Rashomon, and Gary Sinise was there. That's all I remember.
Is that the one where no, I'm thinking of 8mm. I was going to say
a boxing match, I think, and then
and he's dressed like a used car salesman.
Oh, that movie's terrible.
Snake Eyes.
Was that was a Brockheimer film, right?
Nope, Brian De Palma.
Really? Wow. Oh shit. All right.
So yeah, I guess I got to watch that movie every 6 months just to remember what it was about. I just remember like, oh, it's a shitty Rashomon. Got it.
I think Nicolas Cage was one of the best parts of this movie, and not for reasons why Nicolas Cage is good. He was just fine. Everyone else was Holly Hunter, like Jay said, was just very great, mentally grating after a while.
You didn't like Randall Tex Cobb's character in this movie?
Who?
Leonard Smalls, the dude running around on the motorcycle.
No. Oh God, no.
Jesus. They're
The
cartoon
fucking
characters.
It was the Mad Max ripoff. I thought it was terrible.
You took this movie too seriously. You fucked up. It's a comedy. They tunneled out of prison like fucking cartoons. You understand?
They had everything with the word bubbles when they spoke.
Really,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the movie way too seriously. You fucked up. I don't understand. Everyone else got it. It's a comedy. Let's have fun. You're like, I don't care for the way that shot was composed. Go fuck yourself. We're 2 movies in. I don't want to cast with you anymore.
Oh no! Oh well.
I quit.
Probably deserved. All right. Well, let's.
Didn't win any awards, so just
Sure, fucking didn't. Yeah.
Nicolas Cage got nominated for the American Comedy Award for funniest actor in a motion picture.
For who? Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, I wonder who won that year. Oh,
A fucking chair.
Robin Williams won for Good Morning Vietnam. Okay.
I didn't care for that movie either.
Well, it was okay. It was Robin Williams for Good Morning Vietnam, DeVito for Throw Mama from the Train,
That was great.
John Candy from Planes, Trains,
Sure.
Nicolas Cage for Raising Arizona, and Steve Martin for Roxanne. So holy shit, that was stacked.
I was gonna say that's a stacked ass year. Wow.
Like, Roxanne was a piece of shit, but Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is in like probably my top 25 movies ever. I watch it every Thanksgiving.
Throw Mama too, man. Mama was
Throw
great.
Mama from that was so good.
See, I like comedy asshole.
Yeah, then why can't you just sit down on comedy and laugh?
I like Deuce Bigelow.
I'm with that.
Did you like Deuce Bigelow more than Raising Arizona?
Did you not miss what I said? I'd rather watch Deuce Bigelow. Oh man.
Oh, boy.
All
Deuce
right.
Bigelow 1 or 2.
Was there a
They
second?
made a second Deuce Bigelow?
Oh no.
European gigolo.
Oh.
Why? Who's giving Rob Schneider money other than Adam Sandler?
Not me.
Probably just about it, right? Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, let me redeem myself. Can we please go to Miller's Crossing?
If you didn't like Miller's Crossing, I will reach through the internet and slap you in your fucking face.
I said this was the two that I didn't like. We're already done. We're done. All right. Jay, did you get to rewatch Miller's Crossing enough to tell people about it?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll take this one.
Yeah, go for it.
So there's a gangster, right? And he's sort of the right-hand man of a mob boss. So there's like a gang war brewing, and Tom, played by Gabriel Byrne, kind of figures out like the only way to save Leo, the boss, played by Albert Finney, to fucking perfection, by the way. I used to get Brian Cox and Albert Finney confused, and now I'm like, how did I ever do that?
Yeah.
But like, Tom figures out that the only way to save Leo is to pretend he cut all ties with him, and sort of try to play both sides against each other, and it almost works. And the only kind of wrench in the works, it was a well thought out plan, right? And the only thing that messes him up is he gets involved with a woman played by Marcia Gay Harden, who still super hot. Like in this movie, I'm like, yeah, that's great. And then you see her now, and you're like, all right, I still totally would.
Well, she's always like a person in everything else. I'm glad to see her in like a role like this. Like she had a lot to do in this, and she did not disappoint at all.
So he's sort of in a like hush hush relationship with her, and her brother Bernie screws everything up. He blackmails Tom basically, and Tom's gonna kill him, and then he doesn't, and then it's I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to tell, because Tom, like you said, he's 2-3 steps ahead the whole time, right? Like, so a bunch of crazy shit happens. Like you're talking the cops are intervening. It's a big turf war between two mob bosses. It's a like 1930s a period piece. It's fantastic. Steve Buscemi plays a really great role. Mink, yeah, he talks really fast. I thought that was great.
He's Steve Buscemi playing Steve Buscemi.
Well, that was the first time they used him, and then they like started to use him a lot after that, which I appreciate. Buscemi's great. But Gabriel Byrne's he's fantastic in it. This is my favorite Coen Brothers movie, even more than The Big Lebowski.
I wish that they could reset like a aging dial on Gabriel Byrne, because he was so great in the 90s, wasn't he? Like he was one of the
he never really popped. Like he was never really a household name, even though he was just randomly just murdering it.
He was in everything too, and no one knew his name.
Suspects. Yeah, no one knew. It's like, oh, that guy from The Thing. Yeah, he was the guy from The Thing, even though he was like top billing in everything. Just murdering it.
He was the least interesting character in The Usual Suspects.
I mean, but he was the most interesting character, which made him the least interesting because
he was the POV.
He was like and the POV of neutral, so the audience can put themselves in that position. If you give the POV character too much personality, then the audience can't relate, which is why he's got that expressionless face that's perfect for that. But I mean, yeah, the 90s.
He just killed it. He was incredible. He was great in Cool World. He elevated Cool World.
Cool World was a piece of shit, and Brad Pitt sucks, but
he was great.
Yeah. I'm looking at his IMDb. Everything he made in the 90s was actually a piece of shit. That's why he never got there. Okay, Miller's Crossing, Shipwrecked, Cool World, Into the West, Point of No Return, A Dangerous Woman, Royal Deceit, Screen 2, Trial by Jury, Little Women, The Usual Suspects. Okay, that was good. Buffalo Girls, Dead Man, Frankie Starlight, Divine Rapture, Mad Dog Time, The Last of the High Kings, Somebody Is Waiting, Dr. Haggard's Disease, Dryoct.
Okay. What the fuck are these?
Smell a Sense of Snow, Glenroe, The End of Violence, Weapons of Mass Destruction, This Is the Sea, Polish Wedding, The Man in the Iron Mask, The Brill Cream Boys, The Magic Sword, The Quest for Camelot, Enemy of the State, Stigmata, End of Days. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Did you see any of those?
Am I thinking of anything or someone else? That Stigmata and End of Days I do remember because I was on a weird religious kick.
Good movies in the 90s. We're like, he's killing it. Why doesn't anybody know about him? I'm like, all right.
I thought you were reading a list of Robert Frost poems or something. Never even fucking heard of any of those.
Yeah. I came to a Brill Cream Boys in the woods. I took the Brill Cream Boys not taken. Boy, I could have said A Simple Twist of Fate. I could have said A Point of No Return in the woods, but I picked the Brill Cream Boys and I doubled down on it. Really so yeah, I guess he wasn't in anything good. This guy fucking makes terrible movie decisions and he deserves to be obscure. Fuck this guy.
He was a super hack. We retract all those nice feelings towards Gabriel Byrne.
But vanilla wafers of movie stars Gabriel Byrne.
Seriously. He was in Ghost Ship.
Oh,
remember Ghost Ship? No. Nobody's remembers. Wow, he's just never been in anything good. He was in Miller's Crossing, The Usual Suspects, and what? Man in the Iron Mask,
and Cool World.
Fuck, Cool World was not a good movie, dude.
No, it was not. No, I know.
You can't pretend you like cartoons now.
Man, the period piece they nailed in this. It was just so fun.
They always nail period. What did they ever not?
That's true.
It all starts with the costumes too. All the costumes look lived in, and that's definitely a strength for their period piece movies.
The chief of police was chewing a match, for fuck's sake. I mean, that was just right out of a childhood, storybook.
Ridiculous and to such a minute degree.
John Polito is a national treasure in this film. He is just
he's actually as good as we just pretended Gabriel Byrne is.
Right. Well, he was actually in other Coen Brothers films, so he's
done a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. But he's so good. Albert Finney is incredible.
John Polito looks like he got ripped straight out of the 1930s. So anytime you go back there, that mustache and that accent, he just seems like he seems like a natural fit. And the guy's been in so much. He does a ton of TV and video game VO and all kind of crap, but he's always working. He's good.
He just died in 2016, so it's unfortunate. 2017.
2016, yeah. But yeah, he had some stuff in the can, so he's still showing up. A lot of his voiceover stuff he recorded, and then they had to animate it, so he's got stuff coming out still. Yeah. But he did a lot of VO, but he was good.
This was the close. If I think of what John Turturro would be like in real life, I think this was the closest thing as the Oh god, the schmata. The schmata is just John Turturro to a T in everything that I think of him in. He was great. This was a great John Turturro role. He's like spazzy and very Jewish. And
oh yeah, his name is Bernie Birnbaum. He doesn't get Jewier than that.
So Jewy, it's chewy. Yeah, it was fantastic.
He's like a yarmulke full of matzo balls. That's how Jewy was in this.
It puts the oi in oh boy.
Can we put that on the case sleeve now? Can we retro the case sleeve? John Turturro, or he's got a yarmulke full of matzo balls. But just everyone ate up the scenery. Everyone had that old time, Hollywood kind of snappy dialogue, which they would kind of revive in the Hudsucker Proxy, which we'll talk about later. But I loved Miller's Crossing. I think I'm with Jason on this one. I think this is my favorite Coen Brothers film.
Gnarly.
It's
hard, good. Right? It's tough, but it's immaculate.
I don't want to give too much away, but like, right. Yeah, this is done to perfection. The scene where he's dragging Bernie out in the woods to kill him, like that's still just like, everyone's gonna see this in film school. Like this is gonna get dissected to death. That's gonna be a scene, that people are gonna talk about forever.
And Bernie's follow-up quote later on, which I don't want to spoil, is just fucking fantastic too.
Oh yeah, I know the one you mean.
Yeah. Oh god, everyone just absolutely killed it in this film. And again, there's like a lot of it starred a bunch of kind of actors that aren't usually frontmen, and that's what you need, I guess, in an ensemble cast to make it work right. But everyone was cast to perfection. Like, if there was an Academy Award, there's an Academy Award for everything. Could there be one for casting and give one now to Miller's Crossing? Because it was perfect. Spot on.
There needs to be an Academy Award for casting.
Yeah, that's a tough thing, right? Like, so many movies you could think of, you'd be like, hey, that could have been a great movie, but they just shit the bed with.
Oh, you make or break on your actors.
Yeah.
The audience doesn't identify with the cushion or the chair or the car. So,
well, this was another National Board Review top 10 winner. They won the Felix Award at the 2020 Awards. I don't even know what that is. Like this, it didn't really even get nominated for anything major.
But this is on some prestigious list as one of the top 100 films of all time, though. I know I saw that. I just don't remember what the list was.
That was just my list.
It was Jason's list.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Hold on. Oh look. Anyways, talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic.
Well, this also lost a shitload of money.
Sure.
It made it back less than half of its budget in the U.S.
This was a teleplay, man. I mean, those always bomb.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Have any Coen Brothers movies made like over $100 million? Have they had a box office?
I'm sure Oh Brother We're Out though.
I think No Country too.
Yeah, No Country for Old Men got a lot of play, so that might be the one. True Grit I think that made a little bit of money.
Hudsucker Proxy made 15 million worldwide, but only 3 in the U.S.
Damn, American audiences are dumb.
Fargo made 25 mil in the U.S.
Yeah, I remember. There was quite a buzz about Fargo.
Big Lebowski made 17 million in the U.S. But what did it make on VHS? Because I definitely wore out a copy of it.
I know this is it won AFI's top 10 gangster films, but there was something else. I mean, it got like high praise.
Name 10 good gangster films though. You run out. You're like, oh, that's so easy. Godfather, Godfather 2.
Then the rest.
Casino,
Goodfellas, Casino, Scarface. My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin. Like, you run out real fast.
My Blue Heaven. My Blue Heaven.
Yeah, that was Rick Moranis' last movie, I think.
Make him sound
it
like
wasn't Honey, We Blew Up the Kid Again. That wasn't his last one.
It should have been his last one.
Honey, We Shit on the Kid. All right, Barton Fink.
Yay!
Barton Fink, the character, not Barton Fink. The movie is such an asshole.
Yeah,
that's what's great. It's what's great that he's the POV. Movie. Like, he's just such an idiot because he's a hack. First of all, he doesn't know what a shitty writer he is, because when I was doing comedy and I was like, man, these audiences are so stupid. I wish I could write basic, easy, dumb shit that they laugh at. And then I'm like, well, if they're so dumb, it should be real easy to write 10 minutes that they'll laugh at real quick. And if you can't do it, maybe you're not that much smarter than them. So like having that revelation kind of helped me and not kind of look down on redneckier audiences that just wanted to laugh at racist crap. And Barton Fink doesn't realize what an asshole he is, because he's like, I'm a man of the people. And he could have just asked about wrestling the guy who comes into his room in the hotel every night. He could, and every time John Goodman opens his mouth to say something, he just cuts him off, and I love that. He's such a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I could tell you a story. And anyways, it's about the crowd.
I bet you could tell me a story. Yeah, and lots of writers don't even connect with people. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like what you're doing right now.
I love movies that play on the idea, in stories in general. I'm told to avoid this kind of writing where it's about the misunderstood genius who thinks he's above everybody else. It's stuff that Garrison Keillor warns about. But here it plays. Here it really works, and it's not
because he's such an asshole, and like everybody gets it but him.
So little self-awareness, and it's just, oh man, you can't help. He's like Howard Stern, where even the people who don't like him listen to him more just to hear what he has to say next. And it's like the Trump trolls who want to hear what idiotic, stupid thing he has to say next.
Sure,
you're on the side of chaos in Barton Fink, where you're rooting for people to fail, and you're waiting for the "I told you so" at the end of the movie. Yeah, but on an acting note, this is one of John Turturro's best roles.
This is awesome. His best role, in my opinion.
This is awesome stuff. It's just the nuance, every little word he says, and it's all in the script. It was all there. So he really knew how to interpret that crisp dialogue.
I mean, they probably wrote it kind of close to the cuff on him.
They probably wrote the part for him because he was so good at Miller's Crossing, and they made this 9 months after.
Oh wow,
this was August '91. They probably were thinking about him for both parts almost at the same time, because they had to do pre-production like while they were still working on finishing Miller's Crossing. So I'm sure the part was written for him specifically.
Goodman too.
Oh, good. Yeah. Can we talk about how great Goodman was in this?
He steals the show. This was the first time I'd ever seen him outside of Roseanne, and I'm thinking, whoa, goofy ass Dan Connor can pull off a character. I was like 14 when I saw this movie, but I think the last time I saw it was like 5-6 years ago. But John Goodman's an amazing character actor, and the Coens bring out the best in him in every single role, with that exception of Raising fucking Arizona. But
yes,
it's not his best work. But they made up for it with Barton Fink.
There's a reason why there's a reason why he got cast as Fred Flintstone after Raising Arizona.
Right.
I'm just trying to lay it on to Jason at this point.
Well, you're both wrong, so like high fiving being wrong as well. You're right. 2 + 2 = 5. This is where democracy doesn't work, because you guys outnumber me, so you feel like you're right now.
Oh, stop! In any other group, like room, we would be the minority by far.
I want to be in that room.
Well, you're in this room, motherfucker.
When someone says, "Hey, that's just my opinion," I like to say, "Yes, but you're mistaken."
Yeah,
you're allowed to be. You guys are allowed to be wrong. It's fine. This is America. You can be wrong.
This was the original "What's in the Box" film, right? I mean,
yeah,
yeah. Absolutely.
We never know, right? I mean, we know, but we don't know.
Now, it's J.J. Abrams says you never figure out what's in the mystery box.
Yeah, great advice, Sage. God, that fucking guy.
Idiot.
Nice.
Can't wait for you to fuck up episode 9, JJ. Come on, let's see it.
Let's go.
We know you're so good at endings, buddy.
He's good at beginnings or rehashes. We'll give him that. Yikes. But yeah, this film had amazing imagery too. I mean, this is a film pretty much that takes place in a hotel room and at a pool. and it's just great. And it has a lot of those Coen Brothers subtle like winks and little jokes in here. This is like touted as a comedy, and it has just the meeting between Barton Fink and the bellboy, who's played by Steve Buscemi again. Just the bell he rings, and it just plays on. And it just plays on that subtle bell ring until Steve Buscemi just looks really annoyed and stops it, which is fantastic. Just the ending, like the wheels just fucking fall off of this. He's just like, oh, I'm finally inspired to do this thing. But it took his life going in an actual blender for these things to happen. And again, performances. John Mahoney plays a great screaming drunk on the phone.
Yeah, it's weird how they used some people 2 movies in a row and then never again. It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish they had used John Mahoney forever because he was great too.
He would. Well, I think he checked out kind of soon after this, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember.
No, he died in 2018.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Shit. All right. Well, like physically died. Maybe career died a little before that. I don't know why I'm shitting on John Mahoney.
He did Frasier for years.
Yeah, I guess that's a paycheck. He's making more on that than a Coen Brothers film.
He mostly did TV, like after 2000. He did some VO. He's got a good voice, so he did VO and he was on TV.
I thought that this was, up there as far as this is one of the most underappreciated Coen Brothers films. And I think, you said it perfectly, Jason, off air, where you said it takes a couple times for a lot of people for this one. I loved it straight out of the bat.
Well, I wonder why it got so much critical acclaim. So I went back and gave it another shot, and I realized you're not supposed to like Barton.
Right.
You love to hate him, and that's great writing. And
Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's a movie. And even if it talks about the supposed dark underbelly of Hollywood, for whatever reason, they love that because they're like, "Oh, look, we can take criticism. We're so awesome." It's sort of a kind of a wank, but like they made a movie about Hollywood in the 30s, and Hollywood loved it. So it got 3 Oscar nominations it probably didn't deserve. This was a fine movie, but
yeah. Well, what were the nominations for? Depends.
Well, best supporting actor for Mike Lerner, best art direction, and best costume. So, okay, I can see that.
John Goodman needs to win an Oscar.
He was nominated for a Golden Globe for this.
Good.
That's good. Yeah.
Give him some.
He played a perfect serial killer, right? He was so likable.
Why would you spoil the movie?
That's
a big reveal at the end.
Sorry, one person that's watching this right now.
That has never seen Barton Fink.
Yeah.
Hey, another movie that the streaming world doesn't want you to see. I'd look for that one as well.
Or go buy the DVD for $3.
What the hell's a DVD?
2018, Jason. God.
I'm purging my collection. I have less than 100 DVDs and Blu-rays left.
Jesus. How do you
I don't know why I went to the Napoleon Dynamite reference. That was horrible.
God.
Yeah, see, I like comedies, Jason.
Yeah, you like Napoleon Dynamite and Deuce Bigelow. I guess I was wrong about your taste.
Burn!
Douche Bigelow. All right. Hudsucker Proxy.
This movie's friggin' bonkers, dude.
I wish I had saved calling this Brazil Had a Baby with the Producers, because that's really, if you've never seen this movie and you expect a Coen Brothers movie, you're not going to get it.
Nope. It's bonkers.
It's got Tim Robbins, who they never used again, Jennifer Jason Leigh, who they never used again, Paul Newman, who they never used again, John Mahoney, his last time them using him. I
had John Polito.
Yeah, Polito's great. Always. Had Charles Durning also.
Yep.
Yeah, late great Charles Durning. I don't know. I don't think Tim Robbins is much of an actor. That's just me. I think he's kind of middle of the road. He's like Mark Harmon, like that to me. Or Nathan Fillion. He's that caliber.
Oh,
not the dog Nathan Fillion.
So you never saw Tapeheads then?
Afraid I didn't see Tapeheads.
He's too soft spoken, so he just sort of
Yeah,
There was a
and
movie he played with. Fuck, there was a dude that was sick of people's car alarms, so he was smashing their car windows, opening up their hood, and cutting their batteries, and like he was going to jail and shit.
Oh my god, what was that called?
It was I saw it was like it's just something on Netflix. It was like,
Yeah.
3 stars, and it's just some crazy movie. And he actually like emoted a little bit, and you're like, oh, this guy can show emotion on his face. Who knew?
That movie
he plays
was great.
more than one emotion. Touched.
Yeah.
But he works for Shawshank Redemption because he needed to be the mild-mannered guy in that. So
yeah, he's called upon for that kind of stuff. They write parts for him.
I miss Tim Robbins.
You tell me you didn't think that Tim Robbins was great in High Fidelity?
I was gonna, yeah.
I dare you to defend that point of view.
Hey, no one's having sex as great as Ian.
in my head.
Get your fucking patchouli stink out of my store.
Get out, hard ass.
Yeah, this film is a straight up lucid dream because it's just it's a mess. It's a
Terry Gilliam movie.
Absolutely. It's more of a Terry Gilliam, Sam Raimi movie than a Coen Brothers Sam Raimi movie, but you could definitely feel Raimi's fingerprints on this. You never know where you are.
Mostly because they made it as Bruce Campbell, who they never used again.
Yeah,
it really is like Raimi and Gilliam had an ugly baby. I mean, there are some nice shots in it, though. The interiors look nice. They look setish and exaggerated in that kind of Dutch angle way, which the Coen brothers try to steer away from using Dutch angles. Thank God, fucking JJ.
Well, I feel like this called for it.
Yeah.
So they let the subject matter dictate the visual style, and nobody really does that. Everyone's sort of like, I'm putting my thumbprint on this, and they're like, we're gonna do right by the material, which I think was perfect, because they don't do as many like far away crane shots as in anything else but Fargo, stuff like that. Like they just kind of they let extreme close-ups and
they love it all.
Yeah, just weird shots. It felt like a lot like Brazil to me. But I fucking love Brazil, so I was super okay with that.
They did a lot of establishing shots in this film, but it was all establishing shots in a singular room. So it doesn't take very long. It's not taking in the scenery. You're just seeing four walls and carpet. It's just, this movie is great for kids.
Yeah, for kids. Just, it seemed like it's a real scathing indictment of capitalism.
It's a corporate roast. I'd say they're roasting capitalism, basically.
Which is why they made it look so ghoulish and cartoony, because it's it's supposed to feel like a fever dream. Yeah,
and it's like what's the reward for getting to the top, for sitting at the chair of the board? It's getting on the table and jumping out of a window. It's so much.
And falling 44 stories, 45 if you count the mezzanine.
The mezzanine, yeah. I like how each room had one of those, I don't even know what they're called, but the tickers where you could see how much money you're making in real time.
I think they're tickers.
Oh,
I think that's their technical name.
What is it called?
I think that's their technical name, is the ticker.
I think they are called tickers.
Yeah, sure. Oh, okay. Perfect. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Jennifer Jason Leigh, now she looks like she's on Prozac in every single film, but she was still trying to be like a fun actress. She just completely overdid the go-getter. I'm working for the Gazette and I'm a Pulitzer Prize winner.
I want a Pulitzer Prize.
It just works so well, though. This is a cartoon. I mean, you say Raising Arizona is a cartoon. This is a movie chock full of cartoon characters.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's nice and solid. It's a B.
Yeah, I can see that. All right.
I can't see hating this movie, but I could see just being like not getting it, maybe, or just.
Well, early litmus test. Is this your least favorite of the bunch that we're talking about?
I feel like I liked Barton Fink probably the least.
Wow.
Of this bunch.
I think Barton Fink I like the most. and this is probably a distant second.
What's your least favorite of the bunch? Raising?
Probably, yeah, just because I don't really remember Blood Simple and Miller's Crossing. I'm very auditory sensitive. Like, I like, this is a small tangent, but I like Doctor Who, but sometimes that show's really noisy and obnoxious, and the Daleks are too loud, and I don't know, if a movie is too noisy, then it's a kind of a turn off, and that's what Raising Arizona was to me. Too many abrupt, clicky sounds, and I don't know, it just seemed not as polished as the Hudsucker Proxy by a good mile.
It was just grown men screaming into the camera for extended periods of time.
That's fucking writing. I tease
Jason's just fuming.
I'm not feeling it's just whatever.
We're wrong, right?
You're wrong.
All right.
I know.
Well, let's. Okay. Well, why don't we just talk about the quaintest little movie on the list? Yeah.
Fargo's a fucking perfect film. I think it's perfect. There's not a shot wasted. There's not a line of dialogue that's not important. The movie gets some shit about what's his name, the guy Mike Yanagita, when he's meeting with Marge. He's like, "Oh, I loved you so much back in school," but that scene is pivotal to the film. It's what tips her off to the fact that Jerry's full of shit.
Yeah.
So
that scene was uncomfortable, but
oh God! Just her face when he makes the decision to sit next to her in the booth.
Oh, why don't you sit over there? I prefer that.
Oh, it's just so I can see you better. Yeah.
I mean, Steve Park is great. He went on to do some good stuff that I don't know. This wasn't necessarily his first good role, because he was in Showdown in Little Tokyo, which is the best gay porn film. When Dolph Lundgren goes to Brandon Lee, you've got the nicest dick I've ever seen, or something like that.
Sure.
That movie was gayer than a soccer team blowing a rugby team, which is fine. I don't mean that in homophobic, but it's fine that some movies are gay, but that movie was gay.
You want to suck dick? Suck dick. I mean, who am I to stop anyone?
Yeah, I still watch that movie. I have it on DVDs. It's not even I don't even care. That doesn't make me uncomfortable.
Is that the Christmas movie? We know your Thanksgiving movie.
No, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Die Hard's my Christmas movie, man.
If Home Alone's a Christmas movie, then Die Hard's a Christmas movie, because they're the same fucking movie.
Yeah, I like how it made the news that Bruce Willis said Die Hard wasn't a Christmas movie, because Bruce Willis thinks Bruce Willis is a musician. So who the fuck cares what he thinks? Cool. Thanks for your input, Bruno.
He's probably my bottom 5 people or he's in my top 5 people that I just despise. I've never been a Bruce Willis fan.
Glad he's not in Fargo.
But Die Hard's one of the best movies ever made.
I suppose.
It's a perfect movie.
No comment.
It's better than the book it was based on. How often does that happen? All my favorite movies. Yeah. Children of Men.
Yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah. How much time you got?
Right. Lord of the Rings. No, not Lord of the Rings.
Watch your mouth. The Hobbit, though, for sure, right?
Right, exactly.
Oh. Yeah. But Fargo. Yeah, Fargo.
Fargo
based on a true story.
Right. Yeah, someone actually died. I guess that's an urban legend.
Yeah. Yes, I heard this today.
Oh, wow. Some Japanese tourist was in Fargo just digging around.
Searching for her boyfriend's childhood home? Is that what? I'm sure there's a lot of telephone at this point, because this happened.
No, I heard she was looking for where the money was buried.
Oh. Well,
she thought it was a true story.
She died of exposure digging out in the snow looking for where the money was.
Is that exactly what you heard too, Jay?
More or less, yeah. I don't know if it's an urban legend or not. I mean, it's kind of apocryphal, but because who the fuck's going to be able to prove it? But that'd be, I don't want to say it'd be funny, but it would be typical of.
No, it'd be funny. Fuck her.
Yeah.
I can't laugh at the suffering of another human being, but in the way in which they died can be quite humorous if you think about it. So.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I laugh at the way David Carradine died every day.
Tragedy is when I cut my finger. Comedy is when I fall in an open sewer and die.
There you go. I heard all of that, but I heard that there was a spin on it to see, and this is why it's like a telephone urban legend, because the person that I heard it from today said that they went out and her English was so bad that that's what they thought, and they kept telling her, no, it's not a true story, it's just a movie, there's no case full of $1 million, buried out in whatever. But then I guess she was really trying to look for her brother, or not her brother, but her lover's childhood home, to kind of pay homage to it, some kind of like Japanese respect way, and she wound up dying of exposure, like you gentlemen said, but I heard the opposite. Yeah,
if that's the case, then that story sucks, and no wonder.
That's no fun at all, right? Yeah, the other way is a lot more of a Coen Brothers way, but I mean, William H. Macy, did they ever use him again? Because he is just fucking fantastic in this film.
He turned down Big Lebowski to do Mystery Men.
Oh, good call there, Bill.
I'm just kidding.
Good call, Bill.
Fuck you, I like that movie.
Mystery Men is one of the most glorious failures of a film I've ever seen. It's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's such a good cast. They put so much money into it, and everyone just kind of went, man, I don't understand. That's
well, Dane Cook was in the movie for 30 seconds.
Oh,
so I can
Waffle Man! Tom Waits was in that movie. Greg Kinnear. Fucking Ricky Jay was in that movie. Ricky goddamn Jay was in that movie.
It's everyone that everyone thought was going to be big, and then just kind of...
William Macy plays the perfect schmuck.
Yep.
He's so schmucky. He has schmuckness everywhere. And even when he gets angry, like, you darn tootin', I'm going to do a darn lot count. And he storms out. He can't even have a tantrum and you can take him seriously.
It's so important to you. Yeah.
I'm cooperating here. And like, he's such a shitty liar. Everything is painful to watch with him. And the Coens love comedy torture, where they just twist the knife, twist it ever so slowly.
They like taking just somebody that isn't a career criminal, someone that's not smart, not a mastermind, and they don't want to show you like like some dude is a career criminal getting away with some shit. Right. They want you to see a normal person who gets tempted, or just for whatever reason, whatever their circumstances are, they get bored and want to change their circumstances. Because that happens a lot too. Someone's just bored. It's Jerry wanting the money for a real estate deal. It's Frances McDormand's character in Burn After Reading wanting the surgery. It seems like people either want to get out of their economic situation, or they just get restless.
Well, it's Dan Hedaya in Blood Simple too. He's just like, my wife is cheating on me with the bartender. I can't physically kick this guy's ass because I'm Dan Hedaya, so I'm going to go to this very shady person to hire someone to kill him. And again, that's the last person you want in charge of that, because he's just so dull. He's just a bar owner. And then you have freaking Mr. Lundegaard. He is literally a used car. Well, I guess it's a new car salesman. I guess they're a little bit, higher on the...
I'm the executive sales manager.
Yeah.
He's not a criminal mastermind, and but
he's our villain. It's great.
Yeah. He's just everybody. Like,
and Marge Gunderson isn't fucking Sherlock either.
I love when she's at the end of the movie, when she corners the guy at the wood chipper and she goes, "Freeze, police," and she points to her bag. like, oh, this will make him get it. I'm like, Jesus, Margie, I'll believe you're gonna shoot him, but then she does. She shoots him, and she shoots
that's your friend there during the wood chipper there.
Yeah,
it's such a beautiful day. I just don't understand it.
It was so reminiscent of the scene from Seven, right?
It was reminiscent of the scene from No Country for Old Men too, when Tommy Lee Jones reading the newspaper like, I don't get it. I sure don't. And maybe this was Marge's No Country for Old Men moment where she's like, I just want to be
no Minnesota for pregnant women.
Fargo's in North Dakota, sir.
Oh, that's true. But don't they go to Minnesota?
I think
they go to the Twin Cities.
Yeah, I don't know. Gosh, it's such a weird. She just wants to be a small town cop, and then she sees some crazy shit, and it was over money. Like it made a dude put his friend in a wood chipper. It made
his wife died, and he gets arrested. His father-in-law is murdered, all for a little bit of money.
Orphaned that child, the son, right?
I think you're I think you're right about these ordinary people just wanting to get out of the mundaneness of their lives, and
Sure.
how you can't get more mundane than the lives people live in Fargo. The best scene is when the guy's shoveling his driveway and the cop comes up. He's like, "Oh, I'm going crazy out there at the lake," and the guy is saying, "Where can I find some action?" And it's just some fucking bartender schlub telling this dumbass cop about some idiot who was in his bar. It's so normal. It's weird. It's like I'm not supposed to be listening to a conversation like that. That happens all through the movie.
That's why they're not showing like two rival gangs shooting at each other in New York City. And if they do that, it's in the 1930s, so they're making a different point. But here's is like sort of, you take Fargo, you take this whole setting where you got these normal people leaving these bland, mundane lives, and everybody's life gets fucked up just by a little bit of avarice. It's really interesting how the introduction of some money, whether it's even real or not, because half the time the MacGuffin's of fake treasure. There's no money in the Big Lebowski. There's no money in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It's sometimes even the idea of a payday makes people just act like this. I love it. And the characters that win in the end are the ones that are content with their mundane lives, right?
Yeah, like Marge loves it. She loves her simple life, and her husband who makes
the 3 cent Mallard stamp. Yeah,
that was a better scene, really, because it sort of established her as like, why would you want more than the 3 cent stamp? Like, why would you even be disappointed? Who wants more than we've got? Like, we're fine.
Everyone needs the 3 cents when they change
the postage.
And I mean, little does she know that she's married to the Zodiac killer.
But he wouldn't tell her even if he was.
Right.
Nope, he would just keep running for
Fargo
senator from Texas, and
Fargo's an A+. I sing its praises all the time, and it's one of those movies I introduce people to. Like, you've never fucking seen Fargo? Get over here, you
probably their third best.
It's, I don't know. It's so hard because it is definitely apples to oranges, because it's not like the Coen brothers are so much like Fincher or even Paul Thomas Anderson, like we've talked about before, where it's easy to compare the two films because they're similar. Like Edgar Wright, all of his films feel like an Edgar Wright film, but then you put these two films, you put Fargo against Miller's Crossing, who the fuck knows? They're two completely different beasts. One's a
Blood Simple next to Hudsucker Proxy,
sure,
or Cruelty next to the Big Lebowski,
made by the same fucking person and people. It's just mind-boggling, and it even has like similar actors, like the same actors in it, and they just, whatever he does, Joel Coen as a filmmaker, he gets the same people to pull some crazy voodoo out of them, because the roles that they do are completely transformative.
Leave the TV and stuff on.
Yeah. So yeah, Fargo, it's great.
I'll give it an A+ there.
It's hard to argue that.
Are we on to Lebowski already? Have we reached the end?
We've reached the end.
We probably should do Oh Brother, but I guess we're not gonna, because we didn't say we were gonna.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And it's almost, it's 10:30 now on my time. But it's only because I'm old, and
we got a half hour to discuss the Big Lebowski.
Oh man, I could go on all day about this movie. It's so goddamn funny.
All right, go for it, Jay.
But go ahead.
The Lebowski, I mean, it's Shakespearean in a way. It's because the dude has his own language. He has his own way of speaking. And if he encounters someone who doesn't understand him, like the other Lebowski, the big Jeffrey Lebowski, because he keeps trying to slow, like, dude, let me explain something. He's trying to put his world back together. The rug equals stability. He wants his stability back. He wants, literally, the rug has been pulled out from under Jeffrey Lebowski. And the whole movie are these episodic pulp novels, these gumshoe detective books. You can tell the Coens love that type of literature, because there's all the vernacular of detective novels in there, especially on Walter. It's just so rich with character, and every character is different. There's like a dozen characters in it. but each one of them is memorable, even down to Jackie Treehorn. I just love everything about this movie, and now it's 20 years old.
That's like a theme, right? Like, right, Jay? Like we always talk about these crazy films that mean so much, like Dark City and every one that we were talking about the other day. I don't remember, but it's just like 20 years old from these films, and it's just crazy because you could see a film like Big Lebowski could come out tomorrow, and it will feel very present, and it would fit right in. And I think that's saying a lot for today's standards of filmmaking, where you have all the tools available in the utility belt. And Big Lebowski was just a visual spectacle as much as it was the funniest of the Coen Brothers films. Fargo is funny. Fargo's hilarious, but
in a wincing kind of way, where you're wincing when you're laughing.
It's absurd. It's absurd in that the humor is absurd, but also it's an absurdist take. It's like the Camus' absurdist philosophy. You basically took a straight noir whodunit, right? But you took out the lead from The Big Sleep, and then you put in basically the dude from the Camus' The Stranger. He's just he wants no part of it. He doesn't give a shit about the money, and then as soon as he gets tempted by the 20 grand that he's offered, all of a sudden the wheels really fall off. He gets involved with a corrupt sheriff's department and a crazy painter who is interested in him just because she thinks he's a piece of shit. Like, he's such a beatnik, and as soon as he abandons his principles, he gets embroiled in this whole thing. He doesn't give a shit the whole time. Everybody else is living this weird Sisyphean absurd life, right? Like, bowling is the perfect metaphor for a Sisyphean existence. You're literally
set 'em up,
rolling the
knock 'em
rock
down.
Yeah. It's so low effort, right? I mean, yes, it takes skill to bowl well, but it doesn't
matter. You knock as many pins down as you want, they're just going to get set right back up. You're Sisyphus rolling the rock. That's why you're never going to get to bowl top, because he's checked out. He doesn't want any part of it because the whole thing's a fucking hassle. The whole thing is a hassle because it's not even a regular money drop. It's not even a regular, when everything's a hassle as soon as he gets involved, because it's not. It would be a hassle if it was deliver the ransom money. That would be a hassle enough. But then, there's no money in the case. And the case was in the car, and the car got stolen. And you gotta deal with all these other characters. And he's so checked out. He just lets the phone ring when he doesn't deliver the money.
Yeah, phone's ringing, dude. Thank you, Donnie.
He's just such a lazy piece of shit. And putting a lazy piece of shit in a classic noir film is perfect because he doesn't want any part of any of it. But every shitty decision he made moved the plot.
Yep.
I thought this was a fart and dick joke comedy when I was 14 years old. I was like, there's that guy peed on the rug. That's funny.
They're making jokes.
And like the older I got, the more I got out of this movie. So I think it's perfect just because you get more out of it every time you see it.
Yeah, it's very layered, and it's a comedic onion. Steve Martin talked about comedic onions, like the producers, or like Blazing Saddles, where each time you watch it, you pick up more on the commentary more than the comedy. And The Big Lebowski kind of throws in its face how it makes assumptions about other genres. It has a piece of noir, it has a piece of slapstick comedy, and Donnie and the dude and Walter, they're the Marx Brothers. They're thrown into this genre. Someone was talking, another small tangent, of why the original Predator is so good. It's because the Predator doesn't belong in a war movie.
Right.
And the Predator doesn't belong in the city. And the dude does not belong in a pulp detective novel.
And even if he did, he just doesn't want any part of it.
Yep. The reluctant hero. Big time.
But the fact that he did such a good job by half-assing it that DeFino was like, you're killing it. I love that DeFino was complimenting how he's playing both sides against the other. He's like, you're doing such a great job. He's like, get the fuck out of here, DeFino.
I'm just trying to help my female friend conceive, man.
I'm a brother Seamus. What, like an Irish monk?
What? No, not fucking. They made a book called Two Gentlemen of Lebowski. It's basically in Shakespeare's language, and I was reading it this summer. It's very funny and very well translated into Shakespearean. He's the knave. I put forth a mark of the pins of the wheel, man, which is let's go bowling.
This was probably the most quotable of the Coen Brothers offerings. I mean, and that's all of the offerings, not just what we talked about tonight. This turned me on to White Russians, so thank you for that, because White Russians is a delicious drink.
And this is such a douche favorite Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah. Well, it's the Fight Club, right? I think you said that.
But it's actually it's so good that you're kind of like, fucking idiots love this movie, but like you're like, that you got more out of it
because
I got more out of it than 15-year-old me watching this movie. I thought this movie was hysterical.
Yeah,
but like it's smarter than I thought. I thought it was I thought it was fucking farts and dicks when I was 15, but like I get so much more out of it now that like I can forgive people, who I normally would be like, oh shit, they like this movie, it must be terrible. I sound like such an asshole saying stuff like that, but it's like I can't go back and watch the Boondock Saints now because I was like, oh, Boondock Saints, and then everyone's like, dude, the Boondock Saints. And I'm like, oh fuck.
But the Big Lebowski, it ages like a fine wine or a cellared beer. It's because it's so funny back then, like you said, because it's the jokes are at a level where people that are 15 could laugh at it, but then it evolves into something else when you're older and you're more mature and have a different eye on film.
And that's why it's perfect, because no one's still fucking laughing at Dodgeball now,
right? Exactly.
Or Deuce Bigelow, yeah,
right.
Well, not everybody.
Just you. No.
Just this guy.
I still don't believe that European Gigolo is a movie. I still don't believe they made a sequel to the worst.
I was there when I had to build it at the movie theater when I worked as a projectionist. It came in reels. I spent hours of my life putting it together, and no one came to see it.
European. Holy shit! Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo, 2005. No,
Rob Schneider.
Oh god, the image on the box is him sitting at a bench pretending the Leaning Tower of Pisa is his dick.
Is Thin Dick in it?
He's not.
Oh.
Charles Keating did this movie. What? Eddie Griffin? Yeah, this is...
Yeah.
Budget was $22 million.
Oh my god!
It grossed more than $22 million in the U.S. It had $9 million opening weekend. Are you fucking kidding me?
We deserve Trump.
3 awards. Oh, it got a Razzie. Okay.
Wow.
It got the trashiest at the Golden Trailers. It won the sexiest performance at the MTV TV Awards. Okay.
There's a standard and a half.
Oh yeah, right. That's the benchmark.
We deserve Trump.
Yeah, we really do.
You know what movie didn't make its money back?
What?
Oh, never mind. This made its money back in the US.
Raising Arizona.
You
think you know a guy. Oh yeah, this movie, not European Gigolo, but Big Lebowski. It was actually, I'm gonna be totally honest, it was kind of rough on the rewatch just because my father was the dude, which was cool, which was really cool. But he's no longer with us. He got Donnied, so to speak. But yeah, it was
attacked by nihilists in a parking lot and had a heart attack while watching his friend chew one of the nihilists' ear off.
Isn't that crazy how that happened again? Yeah.
Based on a true story.
Yes, for John's dad. But yeah, it was crazy. I basically grew up with the dude, just super hippie, pot smoking. I'm gonna take my shirt off in the middle of a living room on a giant rug and play acoustic guitar badly. It was.
You can't tell him he's a test pilot for a Barca lounger.
Sure, exactly. So that, I mean, that was interesting watching it again. But yes, I even tried. I don't know why I tried, but I tried to like find stuff to be critical about, but I'm like, yeah, it's just great. It's just great. It's still funny. It's funny on a different level now, like Jason said, and it's just like, who could hate on the Big Lebowski? I just don't get it.
I mean, someone could, because for lots of reasons. Like, you could hate it because like every douchebag that likes this movie, right? Like, you could hate it because just it was a little busy, and it's maybe you found it pretentious.
But I could accept that with Fight Club, because that turned that movie into a malicious thing and just like a douchebag banner. But this
It's making fun of them.
Yeah, they don't get it. Yeah,
we
get it.
We get the joke. Yeah,
I know we do. I know we get it because we're cool like that.
Yeah,
but...
the movie Fight Club it's a joke on you. It's a dude that's insecure about how good he is in bed, so he becomes a fucking. What are you gonna do?
I'd love an insecurity like that.
Oh man, yeah. Eric,
what about where's the movies about guys like me who they're insecure about their dick being so big that women are like, nope, get that thing away from me. It's too big, that'll hurt. And then, where's the movie for guys like us, huh?
Yeah, can you take a look at this real quick, because I think it's a little thin.
It's not small, it's thin. What? We've brought up Deuce Bigelow more times on this episode than we've brought up any other Coen Brothers. So, after 98, that's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did.
So if you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen the Big Lebowski, there's a slacker named the Dude, and he's approached by he doesn't get approached. These guys show up at his place and they think he's the millionaire Jeffrey Lebowski, because they both had the name Jeffrey Lebowski. So like, your wife owes money to this porn producer, so we showed up to get the money. We don't see any money because you live in a shitty apartment, so we're just gonna pee on your rug. And then the dude gets mad because that rug tied the room together and these dudes ruined it, right? So he goes to the millionaire. He's like, hey, what the fuck? Your wife owes money and these guys showed up and peed on my rug. Just pay for my rug.
Every time a rug is nicterated upon
in this fair city, I have to compensate the owner. Yeah, the guy tells him to go fuck himself, because he can tell the dude's a burnout. He's not impressed. This guy is an achiever, right? He got paralyzed in Vietnam, and he came back, and he was a business leader. He's a pillar of the community anyway. And he's got a hot trophy wife, played by Tara Reid, right before her tits started looking like this. Just like right before she started playing scientists in Uva Bowl movies. Like, like 1998 was the last year Tara Reid was acceptable. Wait, what year was American Pie?
99.
Okay, 99 was the last year Tara Reid was acceptable.
I only watched American Pie recently.
Oh, well, why not? American Pie was our generation's Porky's. That's
yeah. Oh, certainly, without a doubt.
I mean, American Pie, when they started doing direct to DVD ones where like Eugene Levy was the only one from the original cast. Like, American Pie band kid.
They kept the sexy one.
Right. It was our generation's National Lampoons.
In a way, yeah.
And I was fine with that.
So yeah, Tara Reid was his hot trophy wife, and he tells the dude to fuck off, right? But that introduction made him think of the dude later when the trophy wife goes missing and the kidnappers send a ransom demand. He's like, who's going to do the handoff? How about this dipshit stoner? And he gets a plan that, like, what if I don't want to spoil too much, I guess. Right.
Yeah.
Well, even explaining the plot, it's so Richard III and Shakespearean that it's just folly upon folly upon folly. And every time, like, Walter is the monkey wrench. Like, he could have easily just, not pulled out an Uzi and left out of the car, but he just had to do it because he thought it was the right thing to do. It's so Rosencrantz and Guildenstern sometimes. So every character dynamic. I mean, you could just put two random characters together, like Bunny and I don't know, Maud or whatever, and you'll get something cool out of it.
Too. Like, yeah. So there's missing ransom money. There's a car, like, dude's car gets broken into. You meet all these crazy characters, and then woven throughout it is this bowling tournament that's the only thing the dude gives a shit about. So he's embroiled in this like kidnapping where like they're cutting off pieces of the kidnapping victim and sending them in the mail. The money's missing. Everyone's mad at him. He doesn't give a fuck. He just goes and plays a bowling tournament. I just love that he just doesn't care about anything to the extent that like he's so like a serious detective would have like gone through the exact same steps. That's the best part. He did everything that a serious gumshoe would have, but he bumbles through it because he doesn't give a fuck, and his friends and every other character drags him along and forces him to go through the motions. That's what I love. Every time he's like, fuck it, somebody punches him in the face and knocks him out and drags him to the next part of the plot. Like he's literally dragged from plot through the movie to plot point. Yeah. A lot. It happens a lot. He's knocked unconscious the whole while he's so like, many times.
Careful, man. There's a beverage here. As he's literally getting dragged through the movie.
He's dragged, kicking and screaming from plot point to plot point. Because left to his own devices, he would let the "Where's my money?" phone ring. Just go bowling. Just ignore the fact that he botched the money delivery for a ransom, and they're cutting off pieces of her and sending them in the mail. And he just doesn't give a fuck about any of it.
No.
I actually, a little fun fact, that picture of Nixon bowling in the dude's apartment, I bought that poster for a friend of mine like 15 years ago for a wedding gift. Because I found it.
You're a good friend.
Picture. I am. I actually dragged my friend to go see the movie when it first came out. Like, you got to see this movie. Get here now. You can go see it for free. Man, you can go on all day about this movie.
I love that, the dude is just so nonchalant, and his best friend is John Goodman, the biggest tryhard on the face of the planet.
Well, that's what you need, because if it weren't for Walter, dude would have just sat the whole thing out. Yeah, and Walter's such a clown of a fucking character. But he's a huge and he's such an embarrassment to the dude. That's the best part.
And that's the thing. It's like the most important thing in the world to Walter and the dude is this bowling tournament, and then those two are dragging Donnie through the motions because Donnie is just kind of doesn't care either, but about the thing that they care about. It's just there's so many fucking layers in this film. It's just ridiculous.
Are we just basic idiots?
Yes, but it's
liking this movie so like.
Well, I'm not.
Is this a trap? It's like if you're like a serious film student and then you like the Big Lebowski, they're like, aha, these guys sound like people talking about the philosophy of Rick and Morty. They're idiots. Do we sound like total morons right now? Like, we might.
Well, Jay and I don't, because we don't like Raising Arizona.
I'm so effusive about this movie. I sound like a Rick and Morty fan. Like, if you don't like Rick and Morty, you probably don't understand.
If you don't laugh at Rick and Morty sometimes, then you're not alive.
I fucking love Rick and Morty. I do think it's genius, and I think a lot of people like it.
The fans ruined it. It's just one of those things where you want to like Rick and Morty, but
it had the Fight Club treatment for sure.
Yeah. Anyways.
Ugh.
And it's not even like frat boys. It's like people that think they're smarter. That's why I'm worried about this. I'm like, oh, I like the Big Lebowski because I get more out of it than most people. And they're like, oh, Jesus.
Sorry,
it's a Blade Runner, but it has some layers.
It's a fucking Coen Brothers film. Like, get it?
It's timeless.
It's just it's so perfect. Well. They never made a movie that was so appealing on so many levels since. And you think they'd know how, but they just haven't been able to capture this blip that barely made its money back. It came out in '98, and like, I don't know. There was so much other.
Here's a fucking theme for you. The Coen Brothers are the only filmmakers, aside from David Fincher, that could pull off successful films with no heart. I think that, I mean, seriously, like, no one has a heart in Miller's Crossing. No one gives a fuck in The Big Lebowski, but they pull it off.
What heart?
Yeah, exactly. Look in your heart. It's a fucking line of the movie. I didn't even think of that until you just said that. But they do that. Like, no one cares. Even all the way back to Blood Simple, everyone's just assholes in it for their own agendas. Their protagonists are antagonists.
Because they were tempted. Money changed everything. Capitalism fucked everything up. That's their capitalism sucks. That's every Coen Brothers movie. If you had to sum up every Coen Brothers movie in 2 words, how would you sum up Barton Fink? Capitalism sucks.
Yeah. Hudsucker Proxy.
Capitalism really sucks.
All right. Fargo. Yeah.
Greed. They do not like greed. They're
morality films. They're like, it's Scarface with a less obvious.
When we get to the second half of this discussion next time, there's, pile upon pile of morality tales in their movies, even the less successful ones.
Even the shitty ones like Intolerable Cruelty was about greed.
Yeah.
Lady Killers was about greed.
But on the other side of the coin, conversely, they're millionaires telling us little people to be content with their stations.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, that's a sour note to end on, but that's
Jesus.
all. I know, right?
Well, here, I'll cheer you up real quick. Superman is not played by Henry Cavill anymore.
Yeah, this guy's getting replaced.
Well, I heard Batman was going to be played by Affleck anymore.
Good.
What the fuck
good.
are they doing over there at DC? You know what?
Do it.
Here,
cut it off.
Dear DC, I know someone from DC is watching it.
Yeah.
Hire Kevin Feige. Just hire him. And Marvel will be like, okay, because here's the thing. Marvel and DC aren't competing at the box office.
No.
You're not releasing shit the same weekend. I'm a fucking nerd. I'll go see whatever. I don't want to see a shitty movie. I will go see whatever you make. You put Batman and Wonder Woman and fucking Green Lantern. You put them in a movie. I'll go see it. I will. I promise. You don't have to make so just hire Kevin Feige and he'd be like, wow, you guys don't have your shit together, huh? And be like, here's the DC cinematic universe, and here's how you tie everything in. Here's your best arcs from DC over the year. Because here's the deal: DC in comic books, they are fucking killing it.
Stop making Joker movies.
Yeah.
No. At this point,
Jared Leto in a fucking rocket and shoot him into the sun. Stop letting them. Just the Joker's not okay. Or do something like the Killing Joke. Like they did it animated, DC animated shit's killing it.
No, it was terrible.
You didn't like it because they added the Batman.
40 minutes of nonsense. We can't.
It didn't make sense. It wasn't the Killing Joke.
We can't care about the part unless Batman's fucking her. Apparently.
Well, it made me care about her.
It made him seem like a fucking pedo. Like Batgirl should be fucking Robin, if anybody.
It was always one of my lesser favorite
Alan
Moore stories.
No, that's Batwoman. Batwoman.
Oh, Jesus.
Get your Bat ladies right.
Whatever, man. Which one's in a wheelchair?
At this point, Marvel Studios wants competition. Yes. They want DC to make a good movie. So there's a conversation now. It's not even a fucking race.
So just to hire Kevin Feige and he will get your shit together for you.
Just hire someone named Kevin. Anyone named Kevin could do a better job.
Kevin McAllister.
Kevin Bacon.
The fictional character from Home Alone. He'd be like, we need more paint cans. And you're like, you're right. We do need more paint cans.
Kevin from The Office. Anybody. I think we should.
A good movie is like a good pot of chili. It needs to simmer.
Ew.
I sound like a slower Benedict Cumberbatch.
So yeah,
the chat is alive. The chat has come alive, gentlemen. Finally,
good.
This
DC needs to stop sucking at the theater and just hire good Marvel people to tell you how to get your shit right. And you know what? They're going to make a good Captain Marvel movie, the Shazam movie. That'll be good, and then they'll learn fucking nothing from its success.
Yes,
for sure. And it might not even be successful. People might not even go see it. They'll probably do okay at the box office and be like, wow, we learned nothing here. The movies don't need to be so fucking dark. You don't need to be Christopher Nolan because you're not. None of you are Christopher Nolan.
No. But this is the thing with the Shazam movie. It's going to be fun for the first time. And then the second one is when they're introducing The Rock as Black Adam. And then it's just going to be a fucking punching each other in the face movie again. And like you said, they're going to learn fucking nothing. If
DC wants to make dark movies, take all your spin-off stuff, take all the stuff that DC technically owns, all those properties, make your dark movies out of those. But take the DC stuff and just make God, how do you fuck up Batman versus Superman? How do you make that no fun?
How do you make it 3 hours of no fun?
And then they're like, we'll make it 3.5 hours in the director's cut. Is this better? No.
No, make it
Let's
less.
get the guy that made Sucker Punch. What's he doing? Oh, he's doing nothing? Wow, we're so lucky we got him.
Yeah.
I used to like Zack Snyder, but hey, man.
Why don't they employ the Coen brothers to make a fucking Batman movie?
Because they would be like Batman, but what if Batman didn't give a shit? What if Batman didn't care?
I'm
Fuck it, man. I'm gonna go drop flowers in an alley. You handle this.
Jeff Bridges as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Return of the Dark Knight. Like his beard's coming out of the mask. DC has had so many good arcs, man. Identity Crisis, Red Sun. Holy shit! Well, you couldn't really do a Red Sun movie in a theater per se.
I would love to,
because it's too much of a departure. They'll do it animated. DC's animated shit. Flashpoint, that was good.
Gotham by Gaslight wasn't bad.
Yeah,
that did okay. Batman versus Two-Face, the Adam West one, the final one, could have been better, but it was okay too. Yeah,
but you just they've had good arcs over the years, and all you need to do is just put those on the screen. They're trying to reinvent the wheel and write all new shit, and it's just
they're iconic characters for a reason.
And they're like, we'll just keep rebooting Superman until it sticks. I'm like, did fucking Marvel do that? No, they rebooted Spider-Man after he stuck.
Yeah.
Venom's PG-13. That's going to be so fucking bad. Guess what? I'll go see it.
Yeah.
You win, Sony. You made a movie with my least favorite actor playing a great
character. Come on.
Fucking Tom Hardy sucks.
He's fine.
He sucks. I wonder what stupid accent he's going to do in this movie for no reason. I'm thinking he talks from Pittsburgh. Why?
They're probably just talking to a Dixie cup for the whole thing.
No one cared who I was before I put on this symbiote suit.
Everything I say sounds like a question.
Anna Kendrick, what a lovely, lovely butt.
And this is the first 4-hour director's cut. Because now we're talking about fucking... Oh, that's a whole other show, gentlemen. Because
yeah, Venom's gonna be bad. I'm gonna go see it. So
Venom's gonna be terrible, and
I know.
Sucks, man.
I got a friend, and we only see shitty movies together. And it started out because he has dumb ideas, but then it just turned into like, well, let's go see a piece of shit. And every time we go see a good movie, like we don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
We saw Walk Through Tombstones together, and like we were the only people there that like knew we weren't seeing Taken 4. So I was like, that was good. And everyone else in the theater was like, what the fuck was that? So I'm like, we should not see good movies together. We should go see Tusk. So
this is no fun at all. Yeah.
So we're gonna go see Venom together for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Go see Venom.
Big Lebowski, probably their second best. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's so good.
And maybe I sound like an asshole describing Rick and Morty to an uninterested girl on a Tinder date before, like, she leaves. It says she's going to the bathroom and then leaves the date, and I have to be like, oh, she found out I was a libertarian or whatever. It's hard being a Trump staffer out here.
Sure.
But like, whatever. I don't care if I sound like an idiot talking about how much I love the Big Lebowski, because it's good.
It's different. It's definitely different. It's not Fight Club.
You can't compare it to another movie, really. It stands out.
Yep. All right.
And, yeah.
Peace out, guys.
Bum. Mr. Jay Manning, one of my two co-hosts tonight. Dude, thanks. This was a lot of fun. Can't wait to see you back on a short week. We'll be right back talking a lot more Coen Brothers films, Trexpertise, classic flicks. Where can people find you?
At those places, Trexpertise.com and Classic Flicks on YouTube, which has been inert for a while, but maybe I'll make another video for that soon.
Yeah.
Nice.
And when you're not seeing my little brother on here, you're seeing him on Brainstorm Brewery, Mr. Jason Alt, my little bro. Where can everyone find you?
Oh boy. I'm the co-host of the Brainstorm Brewery and Money Draft podcast. I write for CoolStuffInc.com and MTGPrice.com. I'm on Twitter at Jason E. Alt. And well, I think that's it, right? That's enough, right? I don't have to do more than that. That's good. Oh, I guess I'm the content manager at EDHRec.com. So if you like EDH, which is, you're like, what are you talking about? This is a movie podcast. What are you talking about? I'm just assuming there's a high degree of
Everyone that
overlap.
watches this show plays Magic the Gathering.
I would assume so, that there's a high degree of overlap. So yeah, if you like the fact that there are articles on edhrec.com that gives that data some context, you're welcome. And I think that's all I do. I don't know. That sounds like a lot. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
I guess
name,
that's your whole career into wood chipper there.
that's it right there. Yeah, that's wonderful. It's kind of funny looking in a normal way, but it's funny looking. My name's Jon Dunning. Yeah, I'm right here. You could find me on this very YouTube channel sometimes. On They Said, We Said. You could find me doing this podcast right here with these gentlemen. Yeah, you could also find me doing Twitters at Orzov Dunn, also a Magic the Gathering reference. Nerds. You could also find me on Reddit the same way, Orzov Dunn. You could also find me on Facebook, Instagram, blah 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 blah. Hey, gentlemen, again. Short week, and we got, because I fucking suck at math, we got 10 movies instead of 8, so that's a lot.
It's so many.
And
So
it's
many.
a beautiful day.
Yes. And hopefully we'll get that hack fraud Tony Walters back on next week. But yeah, that's spoiler alert right there. We'll see you next time. We'll see you at the movies.